a devastating moment. The video you're seeing here being Alexandria, a very strongly Christian town, obviously on the Mediterranean coast. Now, this is where 16 people lost their lives and 41 were injured. You can see in that video people milling around on the outskirts, and then it appears the bomber who tries to get in detonates his device. A different camera angle does appear to show the individual trying to get in through the security gates at the front of the church, failing and then detonating his device very close by. Remember, high security at venues like this, because the 10% of the Egyptian population that are Christian have been under persistent attack for quite some time now. ISIS claiming responsibility for this attack and others in the past as well. And of course, too, this was the lesser of the two blasts we're talking about. The other one at the St. George Church in Tanta, to the north of the capital in Egypt, Cairo. That is where 27 people lost their lives. The device apparently inside the church, and a full 78 people being injured. The point is, of course, today is Palm Sunday, when these churches were packed, celebrating the day in which Jesus rode into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey, a seminal moment in the Christian calendar, and obviously a time in which ISIS have made absolutely no bones about indiscriminately killing as many Christians as they possibly can, Fred.
And so, Nick, are we seeing attacks like this in Egypt because ISIS is losing ground in places like Iraq, where we've been seeing security forces carrying out operations in Mosul to drive them out?
I don't think one necessarily depends upon the other. ISIS have had a presence in Sinai, in the eastern Egyptian desert, for some time. They've targeted Christians in Egypt for quite some time as well. But I think the broad problem perhaps has been for those fighting ISIS that when, quote, the brand or the warped ideology of ISIS begins to lose territory in Iraq and Syria, they may shift focus. If you consider them to have a broad central nervous system coordinating their acts of terror, they may shift focus to areas where they can operate more easily, or maybe those who can continue, quote, the ideological fight might choose to do so in areas where there's less preparation or full-on military resistance like they're experiencing in Iraq or Syria. So yes, they're losing ground in Libya, Iraq and Syria, but certainly in Afghanistan, and it seems after this attack possibly in Egypt, where they are facing a very persistent Egyptian military and security service response. Perhaps here is where they'll make their extra efforts.